Jaron Ennis is taking on Sergey Lipinets. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Jerome Ennis is a bad man, man. I call him Boots for a reason. He's got all the skills, the power. I think he takes the fight, to be honest. But I mean, I know Lipinets has a great team, great trainers. So it'll be interesting. But I'll take Lipinets over that. I mean, what's his name? Ennis.
Yo, 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 yo. How are we all doing? We good? Good to have you guys in here. Got two people in here. Oh yes, Amy and Rob. Well, Amy and Aaron and Rob. Or maybe it's Emily. Who knows? Who knows? Good to have you guys in here. It feels weird. It feels like I'm missing something. I have no idea what it is. Normally I've got something on, like headphones maybe. I'm trying to get myself in the position right here. Yeah, it feels like I should have headphones on or something, but I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm missing. Or like a coat. I don't know why. I'm nice and warm. Anyway, couple of decent fights tonight. One of them right now, Cash Farouk and Alexander Espinoza. Cracking little fight here. One that you'd want to crowd on. Cash Farouk is such a sweet, sweet fighter. He's got pretty much everything. He's got head movement, which is such an overlooked thing from fighters. He's got combinations, punches and bunches, punches with power. He's got IQ. He pretty much figured out Alexander Espinoza in the first round. Saw that he wasn't going to crack him with any decent shots. Was able to cover up from his body shots. Was able to wing in the left hook and the right hand over the top. Just a little criticism I put in with Cash is I think he should be focusing more to the body, because I think he'd get the stoppage by dipping down to the body and setting him up either with a body shot through placing a body shot to the left hand side. But he's picked a great uppercut there. And then, or the alternative being starting with the body shots and then coming up top with the head. I saw Espinoza lose by knockout to a fella by the name of Dixon. This was a number of years back, and he has improved. I saw some people online saying he'd been a much improved fighter than that defeat. But I just think there's that gap still there. Especially as he's rocked him a couple of times up top anyway. If he starts down low, he'll be able to pick that shot off and stop Espinoza. There's a cracking little left hook there as well from Cash. Such a fluid fighter. He's got his feet set before he throws punches, and he knows what he's coming to throw with. And by no means or no way is that a robotic sense of knowing what he's coming with. He varies his opponents. You'll see him stop a punch and come in with something else. But that's always great to know that the fighter knows beforehand they're coming in with something. He's seen something and he's throwing the shot. So I think he puts it all together really, really, really well. So yeah, I think he's another maybe tiny issue with Cash is it's one pace. It's quite one pace, and it's a high pace. And I think he banks on fighters not been able to keep that pace up. Now Espinoza has kept that pace up. The volume maybe not so much, and he does with that one pace. He does make sure that he's out of range for those counter shots and picks off, like pulls and counters off with something else. But it's still a very high track, one pace track, if you get what I mean. So if there's another gear in Cash, which there might be if he sees a stoppage, well, then we'll see that. And I think there is that gear in Cash as well. But I think he's very much comfortable in what he's doing. He'll go to points. But I thought he could have set up himself for a stoppage win, but still. There are fights where it goes to points and it's just a crap 10 points. At 10 points, crap 10 rounds. But this has been really exciting. Even when it's pretty much Cash dominating, you just see the great varied amount of shots that he puts in. It's really, really fun to watch. Great bantamweight fighter. And it's a stacked division. It takes a right hand there. It's such a stacked division. I'd love to see him, Cash Farouk, in a couple of fights. Well, maybe 3-4 fights, maybe 3. Zolani Tete. Tete's for the taking. World title fighter. Definitely past his best for sure. But a bridging kind of win that Cash Farouk would need to, bide his time whilst he waits, because there are some killers in that division. Inoue in there. Ubali. Casemiro, who beat Tete. So they can still take his time. I do think it's a little bit unfair with fighters like Cash because they do get viewed in line with Lee McGregor. Now, Cash fought Lee McGregor in that British title clash, an all Scottish clash against Cash and Lee. And Cash came on the losing end of it, and a lot of people thought that Cash won that fight. I myself thought that Cash won that fight. It was a close enough fight, but I thought Cash won. And they view the two fighters in line with each other. A little bit unfair. People do want to see the rematch. Lee McGregor looked brilliant in his defeat over Karen Guerfi for the European title. And they've kind of pushed on with McGregor, but Cash is kind of not through his own fault, but through promotion, and he's kind of just been like a card filler when he, being a Scottish, British, Asian. Oh, look at those left hooks and right hooks for cracking. He picks those shots so well. Just he stepped back, pivoted off of an angle, and launched in a left hook, which was a cracker. 30 seconds left of the 8th round. I really think if he has a bit more of that like football backing, like a lot of fighters tend to have, Scottish fans back their own. So I think if he'd like picked a side, and as long as the momentum kept going, a lot more fans would start gravitating towards him, and they should, because this style is just so pleasant to watch. It's so fan friendly. So I think there's real potential with Cash, not just a card filling potential. Arcade is saying, "Ooh, hello." I'm also saying, "Ooh, hello" to you too. We're getting a little VT as Shannon Courtney. I had a Subway, and I'm absolutely like... I was supposed to start at 7:45. My Subway came at 7:30. I was like, oh, I'll eat this Subway. It was taking me some time to eat it, so I had to push it to 8. And then I had that, infamous. You have a Subway, you know what comes next. I had to go to the toilet, so I had to delay it a little bit. But the WBA bantamweight title, women's bantamweight title, is on the line. Shannon Courtney versus Ebony Bridges. That's on next. A fight that's been heavily criticised for a number of reasons. If you see my interview with Shannon Courtney, you'll see it from that point of view of criticism. You'll see it from point of view that these two women, who are ranked, I think, 8th and 9th in the WBA rankings, so that's 7 different fighters who've been overlooked for them to take the title. Now, why is that? Is it promotion? Is it self-promotion? Whatever reasons it is, they've found themselves with the opportunity to fight for the title. This happens in boxing all the time. So putting that aside, which we can talk about a little bit more later potentially, putting that aside, either of these women have an opportunity to fulfill their dreams and win a world title. And there are a lot of eyes on this fight because of the promotion and the way the fight's been promoted. And to that degree, you've got to say fair play, because you've got to promote yourself in any sort of way, really. It's hard to... The last thing you want as a fighter, or... This is like anything with where you have TV time in live sports or live events. Not football in a sense, but maybe like... Oh, cracking left hook there from Cash. Yeah, with fight sports, or like your wrestling. So with wrestling, with UFC, with boxing, the last thing you want is indifference. And there are so many fighters, wrestlers, MMA stars who come into their fights. They fight. They're talked about that week, talked about maybe the week after, and then they're forgotten until the next fight. Left hook, right hand again onto Espinosa's chin. Espinosa showing a chin. I just want to see a couple of shots aimed down to the basket and then up top. And Cash could have set himself up for the stoppage. Yeah, so... Yeah, the last thing you want is indifference. And a lot of fighters have a lot of indifference. They're only remembered or talked about when they come back into the frame because they're fighting. So, if you can promote yourself in a way when you're talked about and consistently talked about, even when you're not having fights, which Ebony Bridges has done. she's managed to manufacture herself a fan base. And she's Australian. She's got a load of fans in the UK because she's Australian. She's captured that imagination through that self-promotion, captured that, you'd have to say, the thirst market, really. But there's a market there for a reason. They'll be watching her tonight, so... And that's part of it. That's part of the whole world, really. With getting opportunities, you've got to put yourself in those positions, and she has. Less than 50 seconds left in the 9th round. Cash Farouk is sailing to a point when he's picked some great shots, taking a few shots as well, but that's Cash's style. Very fan-friendly style. Catching counters, pull counters, combinations, riding shots, head movement is brilliant. Great little fighter. Don't think he'll get the stoppage now, but he's picked some great shots. Left hooks and right hooks in particular. Just a little bit of a shame that we didn't start off maybe to the body and then, you know, go up to the head a little bit more. But yeah, I think it's a shame he might not get the stoppage now, but great left hooks and right hooks tonight. A really good, impressive and fun performance from Cash. Got my tango. You've been tangoed. Last round, round 10 of 10. Left hook to the chest. They trade left hooks. Left hook to the body from Cash Farouk. Look, there's still that movement. He's not flat-footed at all. He bounces around the ring. He looks at his fighter. He sets up his shots off of a jab. He's good at mid-range. He's decent inside. He's good at long range, or at least his range. Slip shots, bobs and weaves. Rides punches, which is the most impressive thing. And Mappy Macklin saying the same thing as me as well. And he's got the tank as well. He's pretty much doing... He's sort of slightly dipped in the last couple of rounds. But essentially that pace is still there. He's not tired or anything in any way. He's not soft either. He takes shots to the body well. Covers up quite well for the most part. I was a bit low from Cash. Oh, right hand. And another one. Uppercut on the inside. Left hook was blocked by Espinosa. Uppercut. One thing as well. Another thing I should do. Again, a little nitpick. I think it's the tango. It's tango on my tongue. I can't get my words out. He does lead with the head a couple of times, and he might get, in the future, penalised for that. And even then, it could backfire on him. He could have a cut. Could cause a cut, could have a cut. Eats a right hand there, but comes back with 3 punches. Left hook, right hook to the body from Cash Farouk. Eats an overhand left. Espinosa on the front foot, but Cash is tying him up. This is the ring generalship IQ, and he just winces with the right eye, blood pouring into his right eye. This is part of the style, and part of that. Even though he is defensively savvy, he does get caught with a couple of shots, and it's caused some cuts. One in his left eye, one in his right eye. And it's just bothering him a little bit. He'll see through the fight. But this is fight management here, which again is another string in Cash's bow. Last 30 seconds to see. Gets a jab and a right hand over the top as well through, and then just clinches. And this will be 20 seconds. No real danger for Cash at all. It's just a little bit of annoyance that from his perspective. You can see right hooks and left hooks still landing. Some of them on the gloves, some of them getting through as well. The left hook on the end of that combination got through, and he ties up. Just frustrating Espinosa as well, so who's leading with the head and trying to get those cuts in. But yeah, just I've spoken to a couple of guys a couple of times. Genuinely lovely guy. Wish him all the success. He's not a joke prospect either, which is one of the big things. A lot of promoters have these shitty prospects who they get hyped up and really they haven't got much about them. But this guy looks the real business. He will still need to, as he goes up further up the opponents in terms of their pedigree and ability, he will still need to learn. So in no way are you like shoving him in the fast track. And I don't think he needs that either because he's very young and still got stuff to learn. But with time, he'll be a fighter who wins a world title for sure. They need to strap the rocket onto Cash now. He deserves more spotlight. It's not like strap the rocket in terms of putting him in with the killers, but strap the rocket in terms of let him headline a fight or co-main or like be the chief support on an undercard, and then let him get to being a main event and start building around him because he looks the goods. Paul Butler's been mentioned. Paul Butler's got a lot more. He's the Scouse bantamweight, former world champion. He's been mentioned before. I can't remember who he lost to. Who did he lose to? Why is that out of my memory? But I can't remember who he lost to. We spoke to Paul Butler before. Had him on Boxing News TV before. He's looking for those like. Basically, I think he's like a world title fight and one more world title fight, and he's pretty much done. So, I think Paul Butler's looking at different opponents, and it's a fight that Paul Butler wouldn't need. He wouldn't need to fight someone like Cash right now. So I don't think Paul Butler would take that fight, but would be a good fight nonetheless. I like Farouk versus Tete in 2-3 fights, but then I'm not sure who the next fight should be, and the fight after that would be. 97-95. Just a little, it looked like a little prayer under the whispered by Cash Farouk. I thought that was well close. That's
Yeah, I like his performance from a layman's point of view, a craftsman point of view. He's totally dealt with that guy, and he's also, regardless, he is relatively inexperienced, this Cash, but he's dealing with this fella, and his confidence, his youth, and his enthusiasms, and his skills bringing him through really good. I don't like how he goes forward with that. I do not like how he goes forward with that jab to the body. He comes in a straight line. He doesn't take his head off the line, but. You know what it is? It's an impressive performance against a former world-ranked man. Well, a former world champion, to be fair, but former world-ranked man. Good workout for him. Oh, I like that. Did you see that cheeky fucking right hook to the... well, it's like right hook, right uppercut to the thigh. Oh, I love the dirty tactics.
So if you heard that, that's the voice of Nick Manners, integral member in the Josh Warrington camp. Given his two-piece there, I was just messaging him earlier, as well as the other guys in the BNTV group. But I thought the scorecards were a bit closer than they should be. Right winner. Yeah, Cash took a few punches. Stamina was, well, the tank was a little bit emptier round 9 and 10, but I thought he won that a lot more comfortably than those cards. Just listen to Cash Farouk's words here now. Maybe that's the next thing where it's like a bit more defense, a bit more savviness to not ship shots so willingly, or not let fighters get back into it because he takes a couple of shots. Maybe that's the next step of Cash's game to make him a more all-round fighter. See what Eddie says. Old Eddie. Go on, Ed. What are you going to say here? Crispin and Smith. Amazing, exciting style that Farouk has. Good feet and jab too.
Well, they're so tough, aren't they? I mean, you saw it with Espinosa tonight. The difference is with that fight is, as he said, Espinosa came as the champion. He was defending his belt. He was defending his honour.
Ramna Ali, respect to both men. Great fight.
What a brilliant fight. He is, I know you can hear, you know, he's from Scotland, but he fights like a Mexican. You know, he's like a young Ricardo Lopez style. He actually reminds me a little bit of James Toney at times, where he just, like you said, sits in the pocket. It all comes so naturally to him. But at that division, it's so difficult to fight, to win a world title. And he's going to still have to improve. He still took too many shots tonight, but my goodness, is he great to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, so
Agreed.
fluid and, you know, I think that he's going to go on. Look, I know that the dream is to win a world title, but I can't help saying we have to see the Lee McGregor rematch. Lee McGregor is a great fighter, tremendous win recently.
Calling for the Lee McGregor rematch, that's fair.
Opinions on the first fight, totally irrelevant. That fight sells out the Hydro up in Glasgow every single day of the week, and that fight should be in a position to get the winner of that fight for a world title. Both two tremendous fights. The first fight was an unbelievable fight to watch. I'd love to do it again. I mean, imagine if that fight tonight was in the Hydro. The place would have just been alive. And he can really fight. It's tremendous to watch. I hope people at home start following Cash Farouk. The guy is extremely dedicated. He has a fantastic style. He's a really, really good fighter. And of course, you want to win a world title. But for me, when you talk about domestic fights, I still feel like the McGregor fight.
Yeah, I thought we could take it on points.
Because there's a lot of unfinished business there.
Definitely don't want to bet on that type of fight, though. You never know. Don't really do much betting anyway. But yeah, a lot of people online on the Cash Farouk train, which I'm on there. McGregor rematch would be great. McGregor looks an improved fighter, though, has to be said. Under the stewardship of Ben Davidson, looks a really good fighter. Really like Farouk. I know he lacks power and that'll probably hold him back, but he's technically so good. Seems like a really humble kid too. Yeah, the pop's not quite there. Might build into that power. That man strength might come through a little bit more. I think Espinosa had a good chin and he showed that. And that's part of it. And he was tough. Carl Podmore saying, very impressed with Farouk, great fighter, very enjoyable fighter. Carl on Twitter saying this here. I think Tete is a good fight. He's a faded fighter now. Tete is how old? Let me have a quick look. I think I want to say he's like late 30s, very late 30s. Especially, oh no, it's not late 30s at all. He's 33, but that's still quite old. I'm saying it's late because it's late in terms of the bantamweights. As you get older, especially in boxing in general, apart from your high divisions like your cruisers and your heavyweights, the older you are, especially at the lower weights, the worse it is for you. And being 33, fighting the young guns, your reflexes go, your depth perception goes, your speed goes, and down those weights you need all of them. So Yeah, I like the idea of Tete.
And because how good Espinosa was, it's got to be a confidence boost as well. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're up there against the champion, he said he went in with an underdog mindset, and you know what the underdogs do. You're a fan here. Exactly that mindset that you've got to be better, you have to raise your game, and that's exactly what he's done. And now he's got the title and he's the champion. Congratulations to him, absolutely. Right, coming up next, we have a world title action for you. It is England versus Australia. Shannon Courtney takes on Ebony Bridges in a highly anticipated bantamweight clash. In a time when women's boxing continues to go strength to strength.
And here we go. Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney coming up next.
Chance for everybody to be good at something, you just got to find it. I want to be that example that young kids look up to. Of just accept to get right to the whirlwind and just do right.
Rachel Ball, Midlands fighter, big fan of Rachel Ball. Should have got this opportunity. You'll see her there in the VT, the tall woman, pale skin, long ginger hair. She beat Shannon Courtney in a fight that, well, she got the opportunity and she took it. Knocked down Shannon Courtney in the first or second round, whatever it was, with a sweet little left hook. As Shannon landed a banging overhand right. There's that knockdown there. And she kind of stole the hearts of people when she was crying and did that interview afterwards. And I will do everything. I'll unashamedly promote any West Midlands fighter, because the West Midlands doesn't get enough spotlight. We don't have a lot of fighters, but recently the BCB gym, who've been getting their opportunities and taking the spotlight whenever they've had those opportunities and impressing. I remember speaking to, when I was at Midlands Mayhem, I was reporting on the fights, obviously, and two of the BCB lot, I think it was the managers or something, they were sat next to me and we were chatting, we were watching Ben Parker, Sam Maxwell versus Conor Parker. And they were telling me about some of their fighters. Conor Parker lost that fight, but they're telling me about Nathan Heaney, who's selling tickets. Lovely guy from Stoke as well. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple of times. And he's been interviewed a couple of times on BNTV as well. Sells a lot of tickets. Decent enough fighter. Got that crazy Stoke following. Lennox Clark, who just fell short against Lerone Richards. Put a tough challenge on Lerone, who showed a bit more about him and adapted. And we saw what Lennox Clark did last time around for the British and Commonwealth Championship. He absolutely obliterated Willie Hutchinson, who has been called the next Joe Calzaghe. Lennox Clark absolutely ripped that up to shreds. And it's now been signed, but, well, he was signed by Frank Warren before, but he's pushed himself into that spotlight. That's another BCB fighter that's got a bit of success. Rachel Ball, as you just heard me talk about there. Ijaz Ahmed, who fought Kaiser Kademi for, I think it was a WBO European, took his opportunity and won the WBO European. So BCB are really doing good things. I want to get to that gym at some point and start talking to him a little bit more. They follow me on Twitter, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. But yeah, I will shout lots of BCB. Kane Baker, he's had his own successes as well. He's on like 3-4 fights now in Matchroom. Lost last time round in Gibraltar, but got to go to Gibraltar and fight and getting paid. So good stuff for Kane as well. Good to see any West Midlands fighter like properly represented. But yeah, moving on to the next fight, Ebony Bridges, Shannon Courtney. So strictly, these two women, it would seem, shouldn't be fighting for this world title. A lot of better fighters, a lot of better ranked fighters are maybe should have got that opportunity. But as I said before to you guys, opportunity comes to those who knock, or in this case, is Ebony Bridges, and has smashed down the door and taken the opportunity where, like I said, you had Shannon Courtney versus Rachel Ball. And Rachel Ball won that fight. Rachel Ball was then supposed to fight Guanini, but then Guanini didn't weigh in, I think it was, and then it wasn't for the full title, so it was for the interim. So then it was going to be Rachel Ball versus Shannon Courtney for the full world title, but unfortunately Rachel Ball had COVID and had like 3 months ago and still hasn't recovered properly, which is a shame. So Rachel Ball had to pull out, and in steps Ebony Bridges, who had a fight 3 weeks ago. I think she was supposed to fight a number of months back, but got an injury to her shoulder that's healed. Fought 3 weeks ago. They asked her if she wanted to step in for the title. She said yes, and here she is now, flying over from Australia to look to capture the world title.
Welcome back. The WBA bantamweight crown is on the line now for two ambitious fighters. I can fight her,
Excuse me.
I can box her, I can trade with her, I can make her miss. Whatever she comes with, me and my team is comfortable. I think she thinks that I'm just going to come forward and do brawl, which, hey, it's not going to be like that. I'm going to come forward, yeah. I'm going to put pressure on her, yeah, but it's not going to be like a brawl. Is she actually going to sit play with me?
Definitely not like the Stoke, mate. Yeah, very easy to watch. Slick and clever again. Definitely not like the Stoke. What are you guys saying? I think Amy might be sending me a load of stuff. Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, the fight was always competitive, and Cash had to keep moving his head as it get licked up even more. But I thought he won convincingly. I don't think he was ever uncomfortable in the fight, and any time that he needed to, he just stepped it up and took back control.
And a fascinating one man ahead of us here. Yeah, absolutely. There was plenty of needle during the week between these two. Both fully believing themselves, I think.
Saying all that sort of stuff, I do love the confidence of Ebony Bridges, and when she's, you know, she said stuff like, you know, I've got what I've got, why can't I flaunt it? Why should I have to prescribe to a certain way of promote myself? And I get both sides of the coin. I get like, or maybe viewers, people are watching this for the wrong reasons. Some people put like, they did like a gloves are off thing, which is where like they have like an intense conversation between each other, and someone put in the comments, instead of gloves are off, let's have the clothes are off. So you attract that kind of trash, and you think people are watching this fight for the wrong reasons. But then you look at the other side and say, well, actually, people are watching this fight. Yay, chick fight, as Arcadia says. But look, bottom line is, if Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney got themselves in this position, they've got to prove it, and one of them's got to win. I do love the confidence of Ebony. I think Shannon Courtney is probably the better fighter and will win by stoppage. Stoppage or knockout, this won't go to points because of the way these two fighters fight. Ebony has a good overhand right and right hand, and a bit of a left hook. Doesn't really set much up off of the jab. Shannon Courtney has a big right hand, overhand right specifically. And she's coming out to Barbie Girl. So, yeah.
Former bodybuilder, kickboxer, and now unbeaten pro. Although her other profession, courtesy of 2 degrees, is as a high school maths teacher. Bridges wants fame. She's desperate for notoriety. But does also say it's really about how she performs in the ring.
Which switches to jump around. Here comes Shannon Courtney with the Mexican like poncho draped over her, with Courtney over it with her coach, head coach Josefa, who works with Adam Booth, that Booth style. She's a decent enough fighter. Will pick up a world title, I think, down the line, or even tonight. She will pick it up tonight, actually. I think this finishes in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think. But I see Shannon Courtney winning by stoppage. With all that's been said about this fight, like, I do think Shannon Courtney wins this by stoppage or knockout. But fair play to Ebony Bridges to, you know, ingratiate herself with the fans and, you know, getting that fan backing. I absolutely love her confidence as well, which is great to see. Right, let's check out these videos you sent me, Amy. Oh, for God's sake. Really? Bloody hell. I'm trying to run a professional ship here and you're putting me in fucking a towel and fucking whatever this is, face cream thing. Why am I a floating lemon? I used to have a afro like that when I was a kid. That's gonna be a fight. These two fighters on the screen that you see here, Samuel Vargas and Conor Benn. That's gonna be a great fight. Looking forward to it. That's the main event. Imagine if a lot of people want Ebony Bridges to pull this off, though. A lot of people do not like Shannon Courtney for a number of reasons, and they want to see Ebony Bridges do it. I just unfortunately don't think she will. I think Shannon Courtney is a level or two above Ebony, unfortunately.
Cash Farouk, how exciting is it to watch? Easily one of our most exciting fighters, I think. In terms of his style, I really enjoy it. Scottish lad with a Mexican style. Can't beat it. It's so much fun.
The president, Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. The supervisor is Dennis Gilmartin. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this world title contest from ringside. From Italy, Luigi Boscarelli. From Poland, Gregors Melenda. And from England, Bob Williams. Your timekeeper from England is Stephen Pucci. And at the sound of the bell, your third person in the ring, also from England,
Let's see how this goes. Ben thinks that this is going to go in the first round. I think the first round might be a little bit cagey. Remember, this is 2 minutes. This isn't 3-minute rounds. It's 2 minutes. The women generally fight 2-minute rounds as opposed to 3. Unless, I think, some WBC sanctioned, if not all WBC sanctioned fights are 3-minute rounds. So you do get the odd 3-minute round fights, but generally they're 2-minute round fights. And Rachel Ball, I asked her about that and she gave a really good response. I think she was telling me about the science side of it, and she was I thought she'd advocate for 3, but she said actually no. In terms of what the league science says, it's probably better for women to fight 2-minute rounds. Plus, in their point of view, it brings better action because you gotta push the urgency to win those rounds because they end quite quickly. Ebony Bridges getting her introduction as she does a little spin around and curtsy. I do love the flary type of trunks. I love seeing fighters in those type of trunks. I like the flashy trunks. And then Shannon Courtney getting her introduction now. This will be, I think, the second of at least this modern generation world title winners. If she wins from Watford, you got Anthony Joshua and potentially Shannon Courtney. Who knows? You could see both these fighters get dropped.
Yeah, Ebony Bridges has done a fantastic job marketing herself, putting herself in. She's a lovely looking lady. She's not going to get bust up. She's going to either try her best. You know what it is though? She's got these United shorts on. You know, she might end up giving her a crack. But you know what it is? She should get stopped 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, 2 or 3 rounds she'll get stopped. But fair play to her. Here it is, Shannon Courtney, Ebony Bridges. Bobbing and weaving, Ebony Bridges. Jab from Shannon Courtney, out of range. Jab again from Shannon. Right hand just misses, out of the range. Jab, jab from Ebony. Jab from Ebony Bridges lands, and a right hand lands from Ebony.
Definitely, and you know, Bridges straight away looking to take the centre of the ring, looking to be the aggressor, trying to back Courtney up behind the double jab. Certainly a good match on paper.
Jab for a solid jab there from Shannon. Shannon has that height advantage, but she's just crouched a little bit, hunched a little bit over, which gives that height advantage away. Left hook blocked by Ebony. Ebony's putting her on the back foot, which is giving Shannon some problems, but she just cupped the right hand there. Right hand lands from Shannon. There's a solid right hand there from Shannon Courtney. Jab in return from Ebony. The feet aren't quite set of Ebony. She moves a lot around a lot, and she's just a little bit square at times there already. Jab, left hook from Ebony Bridges. Left hook to the body. Right hook to the body in return from Shannon. Left hook lands. Alright, hand over the top from Shannon. And the left hook. Did well to block that check left hook. It's not a check left, it's just a left hook. But that faces are getting a little bit red from Ebony Bridges. Right hand and left hook from Shannon, and then she just shifts off round. And I think that's the way she should do it. She just box. Pick up a couple of shots and box. 10 seconds left. See, these rounds go very, very fast. But there's a lot of muscle on Ebony. You see it. She's got big, strong thighs. She's got a strong upper body as well. She's got a bodybuilding background. Whether that turns into strength, I think bodybuilding, they don't really go for strength, do they? They go for size. But the size is there, definitely. She's definitely a lot more well built.
And I think it's important to be able to embrace what you have. And I think it's important to be able to show that it's not sexualizing the sport. What it's doing is it's showing femininity. It's showing that we're still women as well. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And it's okay to be feminine and do a male-dominated thing, a male-dominated sport, or something that's maybe not looked at feminine. Why can't you know, like the UFC do it? They have no problem with, you know, the girls looking pretty up there. Like, it's just it's funny. It's just such a crazy topic that everyone's so wild about. Like, I mean, I weigh in underwear, literally weighing in underwear. Everyone else weighs in underwear as well. Like, what? You know what I mean? It's just the way I look. It's how I am, you know. And I'm all about being you, being real. And I'm gonna go and play down my looks, or not do my hair, or wear something baggy that doesn't show my body, or put on track pants when I train in case someone looks at my ass and goes, oh, that's sexualizing boxing, or try and tape down my chest because it's big to try and hide the fact that I have a chest. Why? You know what I mean? I don't understand what it is, you know. And we got to use what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has it, so then you got to use what you got. Go use what you got, whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? But why should I not use everything that I have, including my personality, including my looks, including my skill and my intelligence that I have?
Ebony's picked a couple of good shots here, an uppercut and some right hooks and left hooks to the body there. I just kept that up there. But she's doing all right, you know. Oh, left hook lands there. Sure. And another one from Ebony. Gone. Right hand lands. Left hook. Overhand right from Shannon. Ebony's landed some good shots, and I think she's taken Shannon's best shot, to be fair.
Bridges did better than I expected in that first round, even though, you know, Courtney took it. But Courtney hurt her head just probably about a minute before the end of the round. You know, you could tell touches on. Bridges backed off of that.
Has won more awards in 1 year than any other mattress in the UK. Feel how Emma adapts to you. Start every day with an award-winning wake up. Order your 200 night home trial today, and now get 40% off in our Easter sale at Emma.
Just trying to see what happened with the Sean Fennell fight.
Yeah, really good uppercut there. Just seeing it, a replay of it there from Bridges. She landed a couple of those.
What's happened here with Sean Fennell? Let me see this quickly.
Might have got some start, has the corner.
I saw bits of it out. I think Sean Fennell's been unlucky again in that fight, but really good fight, really enjoyable fight. Jab, jab, right hand there from Ebony. Overhand right. There's blood on both women. I don't know where it's coming from. I think it's from up of the ear. Shannon. Oh, big right hand over the top from Shannon Courtney. And a right hand to the body. Uppercut on the inside from Ebony, though. Uppercut on the inside as well. But she's taken the biggest shot, though. Left hook, right hand to the body. That was a good combination there. And then she just goes off to avoid any retaliation from Ebony Bridges. That was good work there. Left hook up top, right hook to the body. Oh, solid work from Ebony there as well. 3-punch combination and a left hook there at the end of that. I like she's got that bit of dog about her, any Bridges. Like, we'll take a shot, we'll keep coming forward. That kind of Rocky-esque kind of spirit. I like that. I really like that a lot. But a big right hand there. And she's taking it, which is the biggest thing you'd think. And it could end up breaking Shannon's heart if she keeps coming forward and under like relentless pressure. Right hand lands for Bridges. Jab and a right hand. Shannon gets in the 3-punch combination as well. To the chest. Right hand landed on the chest. Oh, right hook to the body lands for Shannon. She covers that. She blocks the left hook quite well at times. Putting that, blocking the shots up top. Right hook over the right hand over the top from Ebony. Jab lands, gets through the guard. Oh, eats a 3-punch combination there. And a left hook. Left hook to the body from Ebony Bridges. But that was a good little moment there from Shannon. Just putting her punches out there. Now she's on the front foot again. Trying to land that right hand left hook. Misses. Eats the left hook. Jab, right hand jab from Ebony. Blocked. Uppercut in the inside. Right hook in return from Shannon. Slips a right hand but doesn't get a combination in herself. Tries a pull counter. Shannon misses. But she can fucking fight, man, Bridges. Fair play. Both women can fight, but Bridges is alright, you know. James, good to see you in here. Watching this on my Fire Stick, Team Bridges. I've got Sky Go on my Sky Go on my PS4, so I've got that one there. Hope they don't punch below the belt. Fucking hell. I'm impressed with Bridges, you know. I've only seen a little bit about her, and to be fair, she's for what it is, it's she's got a bit of dog about her. What does Shannon say? Something? Unlucky, by the way, James, for Preston. I was hoping you'd do it on the bounce for us and get some points off of Brentford, but you got rolled over there, James, unfortunately. Brentford, I think, are kind of the last kind of team that will look to stop us from getting promoted. So I was hoping Preston would do us a bit of a favour. Round 5. Ebony on the front foot again. Right hand land to Shannon Courtney and Ebony. Shannon went a little bit low there. I think Shannon's tiring here. Left hook, right hand, jab, jab, jab. Much better boxing foundation from Shannon Courtney. But Bridges just wants to outdog her. People are scoring this saying it's 2-2. I have no idea. I've not really been scoring it.
I think this is turning into a battle of attrition. And
yeah.
Now this lady thinks, well, it's a matter of who lasts longest, I think. And she's keeping her hands up. Look how she's running out. She's strong, obviously strong naturally. This could be a pivotal round, this actually, because she's come out starting lively, pressuring with the feet.
Or left hook from Ebony.
Interesting match. Good close battle. I think Courtney seems just a little bit more in charge of her faculties.
Oh, right hand lands for Courtney. Just stop Bridges in the tracks a little bit there.
To be fair, it's a very good, entertaining matchup.
Bridges has got that bit of dog about her, though, innit? Which is very endearing. Shannon is washed. Yeah, we beat them 4-2 early this season. Before the season, we had the better of them. Peony or Rotten. I think there's some makings of a decent team there at Preston. I just think... and they've shown that in recent results. But I just think end this season needs to come for Preston. Getting a few additions, a few loans. If they can buy well, then like you could maybe look for an playoff kind of berth next season. But decent team, Preston North End. I never liked David Nugent though. I used to fucking hate Nugent. I think he used to score against us quite a bit, so that's probably why. But I used to hate David Nugent so much.
Yeah, she just dipped there, didn't she? Nice shot. But Shannon didn't want to blow herself out though, because it was an accidental shot. She's knackered, isn't she? You know, I think that's her done.
Blood all over the, what is it, like bralette kind of thing? I don't know what, the sports bra kind of thing of Ebony Bridges. Left hook lands for Ebony. I don't know. I think Shannon's a bit more tired than Ebony, and she's picking a few good shots here. Recovered quite well. Right hand lands for Shannon. She's trying to pick that uppercut. It's landed a couple of times, but just missed there. Right hand, left hook, uppercut combination there. Left hook on the inside from Bridges. To be fair, now Shannon's starting to control her a little bit in the ring there with that jab. Uppercut to the body though landed. Oh, it was a hook to the body from Bridges. She just keeps bringing it. She's like a fucking firecracker. Bringing that heat to Shannon. It's giving her something to think about every single second of the fight. Oh, good little return there. Does she man. I did fucking 5 rounds of shadow sparring. I was gassed. A nice little pivot there. Just didn't quite able to come off something with it yet. But yeah, I did a couple of shadow sparring. Like my first outdoor session the other week on Tuesday. Uppercut on the inside. That was a big shot. And I was knackered. And these two women are making me knackered just fucking watching them. Left hook lands for Shannon Courtney. That was a good shot. Not watching the rest of the card until Ben. Yeah, fairs. Ah, left hook. Solid shot from Shannon Courtney. Right hand return. And a little left hook at the end there from Bridges. Courtney clearly winning. Obvious after round 2. Yeah, I've not been scoring it. People on Twitter, I've just been reading Twitter comments, and people are saying it's a little bit closer. But I thought Shannon would win in the 3rd round. Andy Clark is saying this is two rounds to Shannon Courtney, 58-56. But I think Bridges might get a little bit of success in this coming rounds here. But to be fair, Shannon does have a decent enough tank. Bridges still buzzing in the corner. That's what Rob's Hebbert's saying. She did take a big shot.
Just as a byword, this is a very good fight. It's a very good contest, should I say. And both seem to be evenly matched. It's going to be a matter of who wants it more. And one thing I will say, if it was 2 men fighting here, throwing the same punches, doing the same things, we'd be happy as Larry. Which I'm sure we are.
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised by it, I suppose. It's going much differently than I expected, that's for sure.
Yeah, well said, guys. I think that eye of Bridges is starting to close as well. Right hand just blocked there from Bridges. Left hook lands from Bridges. Oh, and right there. Go on. And a left hook. Go on. Uppercut. From big shot from Shannon. Go on. And a right hand. And an uppercut. And a left hook. And a right hand. And a left hook. Go on. Right hand. Bridges coming on strong here. Fucking hell. She's proper got that eye of the tiger about her, man. Uppercut as well. Shot. What a shot that was. And again.
Oh, Courtney needs to just weather this storm and just because Bridges seems to be on her last legs every time.
Got blood on the coming out of the lip. the lips. You got the eye bruise. Fucking hell, man. Andy Clark is okay. Decent scorecards usually. This fight is warming up, man. If you change your mind, James, check out the last 2 rounds. It's 4 minutes of your life. It's been good, this. If she had a bit more pop, or a bit more like technique on the punches, like how Rachel Ball had, she might be able to catch Ebony with something. Shannon with something. She don't stop, man. She's just relentless. If Shannon can pick a shot and walk her onto something, then she could potentially drop it. There's a right hand, left hand at the top from Bridges, and she's just swarming her. Right hand lands from Bridges. She covers up as well. Takes a shot in return from Shannon. Right hand. Shannon's really putting a lot into that right hand now. She's trying to hit that closed left eye of Bridges. Uppercut on the inside from Bridges.
Courtney was hurting that round, but have you seen that swelling on Bridges' eye? That looks nasty, man.
This swollen eye might be Courtney's saving grace to a degree, you know.
It's not a bad shout from Nick there. Just slowed a little bit now here, Bridges, in terms of success. Eats a body shot as well. 30 seconds, just under 30 seconds left of the 8th round. A better round for Shannon, but still a round that's in the balance, and Ebony Bridges could do ducks well out of punches there, showing good head movement, upper body movement. Can just steal this round. Shannon just caught outside the ropes there. One big shot from either of the women here could win them the round. Double jab here from Shannon. The boxing might have just won Shannon that round there. Oh, look at that eye, man. That eye looks awful. Absolutely awful. Which is a shame for Ebony. You think? I think she's signed to Matchroom in terms of a deal, but do you think she'll get that proper deal where she's announced to Matchroom and stuff on the back of this? I'm talking about Ebony here. Round 9, 2 rounds left here for each of these women to make an impression here on the judges. Right hand up, left hand over the top, sorry, from Ebony. Left hand lands, right hand lands for Shannon. Left hand landed for Ebony, and she just holds there. I don't think she liked taking that right hand to the eye. Uppercut on the inside lands for Ebony. That's been her signature shot. Jab on the right hand there for Ebony. Oh, right hand lands for Ebony. And another one. Uppercut and a right hand lands for Shannon. That was good work. And the left hook. She's in the pocket and picking some decent shots. Real Jekyll and Hyde here in terms of the face of Ebony Bridges. She's taking a few shots now, and a big right hand she's taken. Shannon Courtney coming on strong in this 9th round. Eats a right hand and a right hook. Oh, Ebony just wilting a bit. standing here trying to catch and counter, but she's taking a few shots. Right hand, left hook. Left hook to the body sheet. And a right hand. Shannon's looking for the finish here. Right hands, right hands, right hands. Ebony meets a massive shot there as well. Shannon trying to close the show, but Ebony's still there standing. Fucking hell. Uppercut on the inside from Ebony. Courtney looks gassed though. Whoa! Massive fucking left hook there. Fucking hell. Right on the end of the bell. Just looked like it rattled Shannon. Yeah, you're right here, Nick, and it's completely closed. I think they'll give it a round. But fair fucking play to Ebony. It's showing that she's not just some, you know, the stuff that's been said in the build up. And she's taking some big shots and still standing there, showing she's got a chin. So it'll only bring her more and more fans.
Sorry, I don't agree with that. I think Eddie's the sort of guy who will see the appeal of what Ebony Bridges has done tonight, and win, lose or draw, she'll get a little contract, and she'll be able to fight one or two of the British fighters and see if.
You know that regardless of what happens and the performance either of them put in, there's no way Bridges is getting this on the cards. If she wins, she needs to win by knockout. That's the first thing, and then yeah, she would get that deal probably. But you know, they're gonna have an option on her.
Sorry, I don't agree with that. I think Eddie's the sort of guy who will see the appeal of what Ebony Bridges has done tonight.
I agree, Nick. I agree.
Bridges just drained in that round. That eye is bad. But she caught Courtney with a big shot there in the belt. And
1 minute 15 left of this last round. Shannon looking tired, just boxing off the back foot and picking off jabs. Right, jab lands for Ebony Bridges. Can she land something big in this last round? Either women. Can either women land something big? Jab there from Ebony. Tries to hit an overhand right. Uppercut there from Ebony. And a left hook. Oh. Oh, big right hand over the top there from Shannon. Oh, fair fucking play, man. Both women brought the smoke there. Great fight. I really enjoyed that.
I think the eye definitely hampered Bridges there in those last couple of rounds. She couldn't see the right hands coming from Courtney, and Courtney realised that, I think, and kept throwing it. The jab was good too. That was a hot pace as well. You know, Bridges set a hot pace in the very first round. I think the body language of both girls, Courtney, she looks like she definitely feels she won the fight. Bridges on that.
Who gets it on the scorecards? What do you think, Aaron, Amy? What do you think? Who do you think won? Or anyone else in here? Let me know who you thought won that. I have no idea. I think maybe Shannon just.
And a jab, double jabs were good as well. She was pushing Courtney back behind that double jab. Right hand there, you can see another different angle of that uppercut. She's brilliant, Rachel Ball, and you feel for her tonight that she will have her opportunity against
It had that bit of hype about it, but it was a really good fight. That shame about the closed eye. I don't know if it was because of Clash of Heads, because of Shannon's shots that she picked, but good fight. Run it back again, man. I'd watch that again. What's happening here? It's taking a bit of time. Maybe a majority draw? Who knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please, for these two fighters. After 10 rounds of action here in London, England, we go to the judges' scorecards. Bob Williams, 97 to 94.
97, 94.
Luigi Boscarelli and Gregor Spelenda both scored the bout 98 to 92.
I do you think Shannon Courtney?
For your winner by unanimous decision and the new WBA bantamweight champion from Watford, England.
Shannon gets the win. Congratulations to Shannon Courtney, who realizes her dream in becoming world champion. As she's jumps up, she screams, and she shouts out loud. Listen, everything else that's been and happened and done, she's done it in the ring. She's won the world title. Yes, maybe you might criticize matchmaking and why X, Y, and Z are fighting for the world title. That happens in boxing. They've had the opportunity to get it, and she's won the world title. So you got to say fair play to that and respect to the performance, because it was a really well matched fight. To be fair, even with that said, even if you want to be critical about it, and you can be, it's fair to be critical about the opportunity that they've been afforded, but still, you've got to win it, and Shannon Courtney's won it, so fair play to her.
She was in real problems. She was in dire straits with her life, spiraling out of control, and through boxing, she's got everything back.
The blonde one, they're both blonde. I don't know if you meant thingy draw. You reckon it was a draw, Aaron? Yeah, 98, 92 was wrong, but
What a night for Shannon Courtney. What a fight as well for women's boxing too, and we got another one coming up with Savannah Marshall. Amidst a plethora of sport this weekend, and we can't wait to keep our eyes on the Masters. Day 3 at the moment. I'm hoping Justin Rose is still topping the leaderboard, and the final round tomorrow we'll be watching from Augusta, 7 o'clock. Can Britain have a golf hero, a legend as well? What we do have is another world champion in Shannon Courtney.
let's hear what she says.
Savannah Marshall next, and then the main event. It's Conor Benn returning.
He wants to play the speed game. I'll match that. He wants to, have an war. I'll match that. I don't mind. If you want to have a little shootout, let's have a little shootout.
This will be a good fight. The main event, Conor Benn, son of Nigel Benn, versus Samuel Vargas. Conor Benn loves to come forward and fight, can box as well. Samuel Vargas, all he does is come forward and fight. Great,
Against Samuel Vargas. Can't wait to hear the reaction now. It could be emotional. Shannon Courtney with Andy Scott.
Yeah, Adam, I think you summed that up.
great fight.
This could be
That will be in the main event.
to the microphone. Tell us how you're feeling. Very proud of the belt around your waist. What does it mean
belt. This is Charlie and H. We've done this together. And
Charlie beat and who's like breakout.
we've worked so hard, and to be someone who has genuinely turned their life around, this is proof that anyone can achieve anything.
So much talk in the build-up, and both of you said, judge us when the first bell rings. Forget everything that was said before. It delivered when the first bell rang. That was grueling to
Just
watch,
listening here to this
which is different.
post-fight interview from Shannon Courtney.
I boxed nice where I had to keep the shots. I kept popping the jab out, which was landing every time she was trying to knock me out. When I made mistakes, I got reckless when I traded with her, and she's good at trading. But I feel like my jab won me the fight, and I think her eye showed that. So I just kept popping the eye, and sticking to a strict boxing game was my game plan. And every time I come back, try the same thing, box. And when I did, I won the fight.
Moving forward, what do you want to do next? Because obviously there's two very big things. I'm sure there will be interest in a rematch, but I'm also sure that Rachel Ball, who we know is watching at home, will want her shot.
Eddie's the boss. I was told the Rachel Ball rematch was next, so I want Rachel Ball next.
Stay there, I have one more with you, Eddie. It was a very good fight to watch, and I know that you've been very close to Shannon throughout her pro career. You must be very happy that she's got a world title around her waist now.
Really pleased. She deserves it. You know, remember at fight camp, you know, every fight she's in is entertaining. The Rachel Ball fight, you know, I felt she was unlucky to lose that fight. And that was a big...
Rachel Ball won that fight. I'd love to see it back again. I think Rachel will beat her again, although Shannon did bring it towards the latter rounds of that fight. But I think Rachel, if she's not affected too much by the COVID, I think she'll beat Shannon.
World champion, great fight. Big respect to Ebony Bridges as well. Tough, terrible eye injury. Great advert for women's boxing, because we know it's had a massive build-up, probably the biggest build-up I've been involved with in a female fight. But if it doesn't deliver, it's no good for anyone. And it was brilliant from start to finish. They both wanted it so bad, and she deserved to win. You know, she was a pure boxer. She scored more points. She hurt Ebony Bridges, I think, twice, 3 times in the fight, and it was really good to watch. For me, I would love to see the Rachel Ball fight. I think that's fair for everybody. You know, Rachel was going to fight Ebony originally, and then Ebony got injured, and then you were going to fight Rachel, and then Rachel got COVID. So I believe Rachel Ball is recovering well, and I think Shannon will want to put that right for a record. You know, although she feels like she won that fight.
Tosh is in here. Evening Ames, hope you're well. Decent scrap, to be fair. Tosh, it was actually. You know, Ebony proved herself, Shannon proved herself. Yes, like I said, you can make the criticisms about the rankings and things outside the fight, which I've done, people have done, but pushing that to a side and just focusing on the fight as it was. The fight was really entertaining, really fun. I'm not a detractor of women's boxing. I fucking love the UFC. The women in the UFC are fucking badass, and women in boxing, I believe, will get there. It just takes time. And it's fights like these, performances like these, fan-friendly fights like this, and sometimes the spotlight that's needed. Well, not sometimes, the spotlight is needed for this sort of stuff for the women to progress. You gotta have that. So even with that, again, pushing that all to the side and just looking at the fight as itself, a very enjoyable fight. So congratulations, and that needs both women to bring that. Shannon brought it, Ebony brought it. Really enjoyable fight. I very much enjoyed it.
Shannon Courtney this evening. Just look at this reaction, realizing she has won her world title jeans in the very same venue as well that she made her debut in just a couple of years ago.
And yeah, and there were question marks about Ebony's ability. Ebony was fucking really, like, she had that dog about her, man, like that Rocky Balboa type of spirit. Took a big shot, showed her fucking chin. Shannon Courtney has got a decent shot, decent right hand, and she took that right hand a couple of times. Had to proper hold on. Yeah, Bridges was limited, but she still gave big problems to Shannon and won quite a few rounds. It was closer than I think that's like one was like 98-92, so 6 rounds. I don't think it was that at all. Maybe like 3 or 4. But again, a fun, fan-friendly type of style, which people will want to see more. People want to see Bridges more. Shannon picks up the world title. People want to see the rematch. Enjoyable stuff. And good to see you in here, Tosh, by the way.
She's prepared to give up her beauty, which we thought that's what she was all about, and she's fought with her face tonight.
Scorecards are a bit iffy, but
set her feet first before she could get the shots off. Good tactics. Worked well for her. Now and again, when she made a mistake to stand to have a toe-to-toe, that's when she got caught back to the plan again. So how she executed it was perfect. Remember, she's the one that stepped in. And this fight has had a decent build-up because of the character. Yeah, and some. Yeah, but you know what? You've got to give Bridges a part for playing in it too, because a lot of people have watched this because of what she said, what she's done. And all of a sudden, she went out there and fought. She's so tough. Channing Courtney's so tough. And you thought, you know what? You've got to give these guys credit because they put on such a performance.
Richard Reactor tweeted, women's boxing is on absolute fire at the moment. And I think that what a great advert that was. How proud does it make you feel? It does, and you know, I thought that when the fight was first announced, I thought, oh, you know, Shannon wins easy. And then
There was a WBC show in the middle in Dubai.
oh, actually, she's steady.
I saw on Amir Khan Snapchat that there was something going on there.
And that's what that's all she can ask for.
But I didn't know there was a show going on. I have no idea what it was.
One's at 8, one's at 5. They're still like mature and they've still got a lot to learn. But there's great fights.
Samuel Vargas coming up in a couple of fights. Well, one fight next left.
Several times. He used to mention me all the time on Instagram. Like, I was like, God damn, man, like, I'm not a promoter. And he was chatting on Instagram here and there all the time, and then he just started calling me out, and then I was like, sure. Finally, if you want to fight, let's make the fight happen, and let's see if the dog can fight as much as he talks. You know what I'm saying? So here we are.
Enjoyable fight. Would love to see it again. Looking forward to the Rachel Bull fight as well. Good fight that in general as well. Like, it's fights like that that help give the spotlight needed for it's fight like that that's needed for women's boxing to get that spotlight and push it up higher like it deserves to be. Like how the women in the UFC are kicking ass as well. So, great fight. That's all you want, really. Just a good fight in general, anyway. So, yeah. That was a highly entertaining, well-matched fight. The world title tag was the only real downside. That's not a bad shout from Danny Flexen there. Danny with a smart response. And I think he's right as well. There's still that... You have to... That's now taking that stuff. We push that stuff aside. Now you have to bring that sort of stuff back into the fore. And, yeah, it was... a lot other women were maybe better placed to fight for that world title, but again, yeah, that was a world title fight, and they've taken their opportunity. Shannon Courtney's taken her opportunity.
So Flora kills germs beautifully. My favourite moments with my family are going out for a walk.
Should be getting Savannah Marshall, who's a good fighter. I think she'll stop her opponent, who's like 41 years old and come on like 5 days' notice. Has fallen in her multiple attempts to fight for the world title previously. Hasn't been stopped before, but less notice, her age, and Savannah Marshall actually been a pretty good fighter as well. Really good fighter. I think she'll get the stoppage in 3 or 4 rounds. I'm going to go for a quick toilet stop. I'll be back in a second. I'm back. Dude, this Maria Lindbergh, you see her entrance there? She looked like she's come in, like they panned to her face, and she had that fucking look on her face, right? She looked like John Cena's WrestleMania opponent or some shit. She looked like straight as a WrestleMania type entrance. That was the way she fucking took that on board. Just caught the end of that. It was funny, that. Tosh, what's your take on this fight, Ames? Vargas 39. I didn't see the Ortiz fight. Did he look okay in that one? Must admit, I don't see Ben doing anything at 147 for me. He's far too small. 135, 140 possibly. So, before I get there, Jerome Ennis is fighting later in the welterweight division. Who's Jerome Boots Ennis is someone people are predicting to really tear up some trees in the welterweight division. Fighting Sergey Lipinets, a good little test. I asked Samuel Vargas what he thought about Jerome Ennis, and here's what he said. Jerome Ennis is taking on Sergey Lipinets. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Jerome Ennis is a bad man, man. I call him Boots for a reason. He's got all the skills, the power. I think he takes the fight, to be honest. But I mean, I know Lipinets has a great team, great trainers. So it'll be interesting. But I'll take Lipinets over that. I mean, what's his name? Ennis. Several times. He used to mention me all the time on Instagram. Like, I was like, God damn, man, like, I'm not a promoter. And he was chatting on Instagram here and there all the time, and then he just started calling me out, and then I was like, sure. Finally, if he wants to fight, let's make the fight happen, and let's see if the dog can fight as much as he talks. You know what I'm saying? So here we are.
Right then. So Conor Benn is ranked within, is he number 11 with the WBA, I think? Yeah, I think this fight, essentially what it does is, I think I've just got some background tasks just slowing down my computer. Let me just quickly turn those off. What's good there? Can I quit that too? No, it says relaunch. Can I quit this? Just gonna see some stuff like slowing down my computer. Can I close? Yeah, I'll close that down. I want to keep Twitter open. Yeah, so I think what this fight does is, especially with, we've seen Josh Kelly, we've seen Chris Congo, Michael McKinson. I think this fight firmly entrenches Conor Benn as the best, or at least the highest ranked fighter amongst those crop of welterweights that are coming up. You still got Amir Khan, who's about there. Kell Brook is about there. We'll see what happens around there, but it firmly entrenches Conor Benn as someone who's head and shoulders above the other fighters that I just mentioned, and then looking to fight. It puts him around like fringe world level-ish with beating Sammy Vargas, who will still be a tough test for Conor, even though when he's fought and stepped up against like the world-class type of fighters, your Danny Garcias, your Errol Spences, who else did he lose to? He's lost to Luis Colazzo. I thought he fought Sean Porter, but he didn't fight Sean Porter. But yeah, whenever he stepped up to the higher levels, he's kind of lost. Luis Colazzo is lost to as well. So, and Virgil Ortiz most recently. In that fight against Virgil Ortiz, I thought, to be fair, he brought quite a bit of smoke to Virgil. I think I remember off the top of my head the stoppage, although Vargas was definitely rocked, he wasn't, by any means, he wasn't like down and out and like done. Do you get what I mean? I think there was still a bit of fight left in Samuel. But still an impressive performance by Virgil Ortiz. And I think Conor will look to try and hurt Virgil Ortiz and knock him out to put him up there, because it's a statement made, especially after what he did against Sebastian Formella, that level improvement he showed. people were talking about him and raving about him. That Sims improvement. Tony Sims is a great coach. Ted Cheeseman, Conor Benn, John Ryder, Felix Cash, Joe Cordina, Craig Richards. Nice upward trajectory right now with that gym. A great trainer, Tony Sims, Peter Sims. Good stuff going on at that gym. Conor Benn, of course, as well. Yeah, I just think what will happen in the fight is Conor will, for the first 4 or 5 rounds, look very flashy, very quick, and look like he's going to steamroll him. You might get a knockdown in those first 4 or 5 rounds for Conor. But Samuel Vargas will slowly grow into the fight. Like how Conor Benn started to lose a bit of that sparkle towards the end of the Formella fight. He was firmly in control, but that kind of like little bit of edge, little bit of speed just kind of went from him, and Samuel Vargas will start getting some success. I think there'll definitely be a knockdown. I think Vargas will get knocked down. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm pretty confident there'll be a knockdown for Samuel Vargas will get knocked down. I wouldn't say definite, but I think he'll get knocked down. I think there's a distinct possibility that Conor Benn could get knocked down as well. Conor does take a few shots, and Samuel Vargas brings the heat a lot. And he gets through with some shots. And by no means is Conor's defense like punch perfect. He'll have troubles those first 4 rounds, like I've been saying. Samuel Vargas will have trouble in connecting, but I think he will connect, and he could potentially drop Conor Benn. So both fighters might get dropped in this fight. But I think Conor Benn will eventually win on points in a good performance. He'll look good for those first 4 or 5 rounds, and he'll just wilt a tiny bit and get through on points, I think. But Vargas will have his success. Vargas is no means... I don't think Vargas is like a shot, punch bag kind of thing. I think he's a good opponent. They picked the fight well, mind. And they still will need to pick the fights well, because there are... Even though there's like a bit of the old guard and a bit of the new guard and a bit of the like fights we're still looking to make or see guard kind of thing. It's kind of a bad explanation there, but you got Errol Spence Jr., proven commodity. Terence Crawford, proven commodity at welterweight. Haven't seen it just yet. Manny Pacquiao, old guard. Keith Thurman, old guardish. Sean Porter, old guardish. Still got a few fights left in him. Ugas, a fighter that fighters will want to face because they think he will be beatable. Danny Garcia, old guard, might be stepping up to super welterweight. And then there's some new guard people in there. Jerome Ennis, Custo Clayton in there. David Anissian, a bit of an old guard, but he's on the upward trajectory. Rashidi Ellis is in there. Daniel Yalusinov's in there. So there's like an opportunity. There's a little like mix going on at welterweight. Should have caught fire with some fights being made, but yet hasn't. But there's a mix going on right now. Conor's looking to put himself in that mix, and I think in a couple of fights maybe you might be able to see him fighting someone like a Ugas, although Ugas will be looking for like a payday really. Or isn't there another fighter, an American fighter, who's like Ugas is super champion. This is the WBA nonsense, and then there's another fighter. James, who's like the normal champion, but looking for those type of fighters. Yeah, or even like a Hooker, Maurice Hooker versus Conor Benn. After we saw, was it Ortiz and Hooker? Yeah, Virgil Ortiz and Hooker, which was a good fight. I think we could see Conor Benn step up to fight maybe Hooker after this fight, or Amir Khan, like they're saying. Jose Cito Lopez is a good shout actually as well for Conor. As is Thomas Delorme, who's fighting Amantas Stanionis. A lot of people thinking that Stanionis will knock out Thomas Delorme. But yeah, like it kind of puts him there, fringish world level. And to talk about that Amir Khan fight, they might make it better way for Amir Khan to go out and fighting Brook, who really that kind of fuel for that's just gone. To be honest with you, I think people will still see it. I've still seen it, but like I'm not like fussed if it gets made, and I'm not like really kind of reaching for it in any sort of way. But yeah, Conor Benn, Amir Khan after this, potentially a fight where Conor will win. I think he will knock him down a couple of times. He'll win on points though. I think Amir Khan still got a bit left in the tank and will cause Conor a couple of problems with that speed. That speed is still there with Amir. Big right hand lands on from Savannah Marshall on Maria Lindbergh, and I'm starting to feel really bad for a really old looking Maria Lindbergh who's don't think it's gonna. Oh, she just about answers the count. She dodged a couple of shots, kept the range a little bit here, but I'm feeling really sad for her having to fight a real good fighter in Savannah Marshall. Body shot. Uppercuts. Yep. Find out tonight then, you think. Yeah. I don't think this is a blowout, Vargas and Benn. I don't think it's a blowout at all. Even considering Vargas's age. I spoke to John Ryder today, and I just asked him what he thought about the fight, and he said, I think Conor will win pretty convincingly, but if he can force a stoppage, it'll be very impressive. So I think it shows the confidence in the win, but not wholly stopping Vargas. And I think they might, you'd know about something would be, there would be a more confident kind of feel if there was like a sense of like, oh, Conor will get the win and knockout. Maybe they'd heard something behind the scenes about Vargas, like with the whole Glowacki thing. So yeah, I think they know that Sammy Vargas is, and the most important thing about Vargas is he's got notice. Vargas performs best when he's got notice. In the Virgil Ortiz fight, no, not the Virgil Ortiz fight. In the Danny Garcia fight, I think it was, he got like 5 days. In the Virgil Ortiz fight, I think he got a couple of weeks. In Amir Khan's fight, he got like a full camp. And in this fight, he got a full camp. I just don't see it, Ames, bud. See what? What don't you see? I don't think Vargas is win. I think Conor Benn's going to win. But are you saying you think Vargas is going to beat Benn? Let me know what you're saying there, just so I'm not confused. Feeling very bad for who's shaking her head. Yeah, she sits it out. Feeling very, very bad for.
I agree with both of you, especially what you're saying there about promoting the women's boxing in a positive way, showing skills, attrition, and all the things you'd expect from the men. Very good performance by the pair of them, especially Conor, yeah, but especially that Ebony Bridges, because she came there, like I say, trading on her looks and how she would look, basically, and she proved she could fight. You know what I mean? I'm very pleased. You know what I mean? That was a good fight, enjoyable fight.
You're just getting the voice of Nick Manners here.
Marshall fights like a heavyweight Fury, man.
Peter's been teaching her that Fury magic. I like Savannah. She's really nice.
Yeah, Nick Manners of Josh Warrington's team
between her
and Benn.
Massive size difference.
They're both very experienced people, aren't they? Because that Lindbergh's been around quite a while. But Savannah Marshall, I don't know, I think she's got so much talent, so much more ability. I just don't want. Well, she seems to be able to up the gears anyway, doesn't she? Because she goes from really, really slow and not lackadaisical, but like a lazy but authoritative style into a higher gear quite quick. But I just don't like to see that too much, because right now she looks like that kick. I don't know if that kick can crack anyway, that girl. That's that change of gears for you.
Felt very, very bad for Lindbergh there. She looked her age, looked out of her depth. Yeah, the notice doesn't help, but just felt bad for her there. Savannah's the real deal. She's really, really good. So, no, I'm saying I just don't see Benn doing much in the sport. For me, he's a knockout waiting to happen. He's wide open at times. I think he's improved from the the Kovoila fights and Can't remember who else. A couple of performances where he just didn't look great. I respect what he's saying. I think he needs to be matched correctly, and which is why the Amir Khan fight makes sense. Like you're saying, he's knockout waiting to happen. He's wide open at times. Does that not remind you of Amir Khan? So it's kind of a way, if they get that fight happening, a passing of the torch of that exciting style from two fighters. They pass that torch and show Conor Benn's the same sort of thing. Might do something, might get matched well, might win a world title if the opportunity is sort of right, and keeps improving, but still has that fragility about him. Which is why I'm saying here, I could see Conor Benn getting up off the canvas here against Samuel Vargas. Both men might have to do that. But I do think could he beat someone like a Jamal James? Potentially. Ugas might be a little bit too much for him now. Spence Jr., forget about it. Crawford, forget about it. Errol Spence, who's the WBC champion, forget about that. At the top, when it comes to that world title level, it's going to be difficult. But you know these promoters can position fighters to have, you know, if somebody falls out, loses the title, gets injured, stripped, whatever. Like Avanesian versus Conor Benn, potentially for a title down the line or a final eliminator. They're both in the WBA rankings. So you could conceivably see like an Avanesian, Conor Benn, final eliminator, then like a fight in Jamal James or Ugas or whatever. But yeah, we'll see, man. The best thing about Conor is he is interesting to watch. He's not he's very good value for what he is, and he has been improving. Khan not box rings around him, you think? Look, I'm a massive Khan fan. I have the namesake, don't I? My last name's Khan. I'm just seeing where you're catching up with. The reason I watched boxing in the first place, when I was younger, I didn't have a world outside of boxing it was basically only Amir Khan. I only watched Amir Khan fights. And as I got more older, I started watching more and more boxing. But I essentially got into boxing because there was the first thing of... My first boxing memory was of Lennox Lewis, but then actually watching fights was watching Amir Khan off the Olympics and that kind of hype that Amir Khan brought. And he was kind of like the nation's son, wasn't he? If he was just that bit more well-rounded, he would have won gold. But he had to settle for silver because of the weaknesses that he has and the weaknesses he's carried from point one to whatever point we are with Amir Khan's career. A very interesting career, though. You can literally watch every single fight of Amir Khan's career on YouTube. You can see all the fights there. There's not many fighters these days that you can say you can see that. I don't think you can see all of AJ's fights. So yeah, that's the kind of scope that Amir Khan had on him from the start. But I just think Amir Khan's kind of out the sport. He's been doing I'm a Celeb. He's doing these Meet the Khans or whatever it is, Big and Bolton. I think, like I said, I think he retains the speed. I think even though Crawford knocked him down, even though Crawford was on his way to winning that fight, however it was, points of stoppage, whatever it was, and I know there was the unfortunate circumstances, forget about quit or not quit or whatever, Khan still had his moments where he was causing problems to Crawford because of that speed that is still there. I think that speed will still be there for Khan against Benn. And I think Khan will have his successes, but I think he'll get knocked down a couple of times. I think he'll be timed onto a punch by Benn. I don't... Box. Yeah, I see what you're saying. He probably still does retain... I think he still does retain the ability to box rings around Conor Benn. I think you're right there, Tosh. But the problem with Amir Khan is, and has been throughout his whole career, is he always gets drawn into a fight. Always gets drawn into a fight. And that will if they sell out an arena, if there's that bit of hype there, Khan will want to go out on his shield like he has done previously, fighting like he has done, looking to roll back those years and putting on like a stellar Khan performance. He should have boxed rings around Marcus Maidana in Khan's prime. And he did at times, but he still got drawn into fights. And I think that's what we'll tell with Amir. As his age is that slower of mind and thought. Speed still there, but not as good as it was, but still fast. Conor's youth will tell there, and I think he'll win. Couple of knockdowns, giving him the win on the scorecards. That's what I think will happen. Just that ability to get drawn into the fight really, at this stage, doesn't help Khan at all. What do you think, Tosh? Do you think Amir Khan would win on points then? I can see him doing it, but you're asking Khan to stick strictly to a game plan, and that's been really difficult for Amir throughout his whole career. Virgil Hunter was saying it, like, even getting Amir to do that, he just couldn't do it. He just likes it too much, and that's his folly. Yes, being a Khan fan myself, good to watch. Yeah, that's all you can ask really of any fighters. Just being entertaining, fun to watch, and there isn't a boring Khan fight. Maybe the Chris Algieri fight didn't quite have the excitement as other fights have, but they're pretty much they've all got that bit about them where it's a bit of a tightrope walk, and Khan could get stopped, Khan could get knocked down, Khan could take a big shot and he's on jelly legs at any point really. So maybe the Algieri fight, Devon Alexander was probably his best performance. Maidana, his most memorable performance. Garcia, his most, for me, his most hurtful performance, because he should have beat Danny Garcia. He really should have. And he was absolutely putting on a clinic against Danny Garcia. And then Danny Garcia switched it. To his credit, not a lucky punch. This, again, part of Khan's folly. Alongside getting drawn into a fight, the concentration and sometimes the ring IQ isn't as high as it should be. And the awareness, I should say, isn't as high as it should be. And he got caught with a big shot. And yeah, it was basically all over from there. But a hurtful performance, because he should have really won that. Danny Garcia's proved they were trying to give him the Mayweather tag, weren't he? And he's proved throughout his career that he was never... Danny Garcia, a world-class fighter, an elite fighter, no. World-class, yes. Elite, no. So yeah, that's the really kind of shitty one for me, because Khan showed that he could take the punch with like a Maidana fight, even though he shouldn't have. But he shouldn't be relying on that, and Garcia made him pay the price for it. Yep, he was 6 rounds up versus Canelo. I think it was 4-2 or 5-1 I had it. I don't think I quite had it 6-0. But 4-2, 5-1, something like that. But Canelo knew. I think with that one, Canelo knew. He just had to land a big overhand right. He got one in beforehand, and might have been a left hook as well he got in. And I think he just knew he could bowl one over at any point and shut the lights off. And it was just a horror. That was one. I remember speaking to Ryan Elliott from Boxing Social, and we were talking about times where we thought fighters might have been really serious danger off of a punch in the ring, like in recent memory. And I remember one, my jaw dropping. Literally, I was like, after that overhand right, I didn't say anything. My jaw dropped after that shot that Canelo threw over. And what's he doing at middleweight? Come on, Amir, what is he doing at middleweight? Yeah. my jaw dropped, and I genuinely thought he was in like grave danger after he took that shot. It was a horrific shot. Yeah. Yes, the atmosphere in a like, yes, you're spot on, draw into a brawl. Yeah. I fancy him on points, but you're right, he would get into a scrap, yeah. But Conor's power is another thing. We've got to measure Conor's power. Power kind of scales up as you go up to the levels in terms of you either have that world class power, you might have like domestic or European power where you're going through those type of fighters, but you have to have that world class bit of power as well. Sebastian Formella has a decent chin. He wasn't able to get Sebastian Formella out of there. Maybe that might be a little detract that you have on it, but I definitely think he's got the shot to put a world of hurt on Amir Khan. He was punch perfect versus Alexander. Yeah, it was a great performance. That was brilliant performance. That. See what these guys are saying.
Trying to see that Shields fight. That's what I think she needs to really shine and take that next step in her career, really.
You got there before me, with the Shields, Clarissa Shields. Like you say, listen, a little bit of lamb to the slaughter there. Gets a good name on her resume. Builds her up, easy win. But like Ben says, Clarissa Shields, and am I wrong in saying that Clarissa Shields was beaten by Savannah Marshall in the amateurs in a relevant fight, finals or something?
Yeah, Savannah's the only person to have beaten her. I think it was in the Worlds. I think Adam Smith mentioned it there at the end of the fight, but yeah, really want to see that happen. A really good fight, I think.
Coming up after the break, our main event, Ben versus Vargas.
What do we think for Ben versus Vargas? I think Ben's going to look really good for the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then Vargas will come on a little bit more. I think he'll win. I think Ben will win on points. Outside shot that both men get knocked down in this fight and have to come up off the canvas. But Vargas, I think, probably will eat the canvas at least once. But I think Ben wins on points. I'm not convinced he's 5'8" is Ben. Shed any light. I've never seen Ben in person. Ben, who I work with at Boxing News TV, has done interviews with him. So he could probably shed more light on that. I think maybe the image, like the change of image and stuff like that, maybe puts a little light on whether he's 5'8" or not. Maybe they manufactured that a bit of the old wrestling tactic, right? But I'm not sure. I can't really shed much light on that, to be honest with you. If he is a proper 5'8", I'm about 5'8", I think. 5'7", 5'8". I think I'm around 171 or 2. So yeah. If I ever see him, I'll let you know.
Clarissa's been over here and made a little bit of noise over here, and people actually quite know it. And with her Olympic profile and that, that's a big fight. But will it be here or will it be America? Which do you think it makes bigger sense? I think here. I don't know. Just seen that Vargas hit the fucking pad and he missed it.
Savannah beats Clarissa, UK, USA, New Zealand, Mars, the Moon, so wherever really.
When a fighter's had a career like Sammy Vargas, and he's at that stage that Sammy's at now, you don't know what you're going to get from them. Are you going to get a shadow of the former selves? Are you going to get someone who's, you're going to get someone who's looking for that second shot at glory, you know. So it'd be interesting to see what Vargas turns up tonight.
Ben Tico says Arcadius. He's too small for 147. Yeah. I see that. Which is why you definitely avoid the likes of Crawford. I think that goes without saying. But Sean Porter's had its success at like being. I think he's smaller than Conor Benn. He's definitely a lot more stockier, a truer welterweight than Conor Benn. You're right there. But size-wise, specifically height-wise, if you look at it from that perspective, he might be able to have some success. But I think you mean more in the build weight, in the build way. And I think you're right in terms of that reservation about Conor. I'm trying to look at the rankings here for the welterweights. I'm trying to think who he could probably pick off. And I was thinking Mikey Garcia because he's smaller, coming up those weights. But then again, Mikey Garcia is a much more. Mikey Garcia is one, former pound for pound fighter. I don't do pound for pound, but he's definitely former pound for pound fighter. Beating some great fighters. Shouldn't really be at welterweight, but still, even then, his skill set is levels above Conor Benn. So definitely not Mikey Garcia. What about where's Keith at? Because Keith doesn't quite have that spark that he does. I think he's definitely tall. The spark that he did before. I think he's definitely taller than Conor. So he's 5'6", 7.5". Keith's quite a slimmer welterweight. What about Keith? Like not now, not in the next fight or anything like that. But in terms of like fighters that have had welterweights that have had world titles before, is that someone he could maybe pick off? What do you think about that, Keith Thurman? Lipinets, maybe he could beat Lipinets. That Abdul Kakarov looks really good. I wouldn't go anywhere near Kakarov. Hooker, I don't fully rate Hooker, so I think Hooker and Ben down the line could be a good fight. It doesn't look good for Hooker if he loses to two up-and-coming fighters, but I don't fully rate Maurice Hooker, so I think that could be a fight that he could win. McKinson's small. McKinson's higher rated in the WBO. He looked very small against Chris Congo, sorry. So maybe that's a fight they can do. Just to, again, to keep that kind of keep the people at the top now. Maybe if an opportunity kind of comes, they can then pick the right time for Conor Benn. Luis Van Pooch has got a five-fold bet, I think, and he's won 4 so far. And he's got Vargas to knock out Conor Benn for him to win like a decent amount of money.
Savannah boxes to her full ability and the occasion doesn't get to her. She can stop shoots. Gabriel's dropped shoots.
Jamal James is 6'2", and I was saying Jamal James. Not a good shout there, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
No, you're right, Tosh. I'm not ready to comments yet, but you're right on your point. Maybe that roll should be slowed a bit on Conor Benn in terms of that size.
This fight coming up, Ben and Vargas. I wonder, this what's the word? This COVID is bringing out some kind of inspirations in people. Let's see if this old Vargas, this old fox, can keep off this young terrier. Let's have a look.
Nigel's getting carried away with himself, yeah. He said Conor can beat Sean Porter, or he should be fighting Sean Porter after this. Something wrong there.
Who was it that was hit pads on the way down so we could practice hurt the opponent on the way down also? Who's hitting down on the pads? Ah. I don't remember. Maybe Triple G? Don't think it was Triple G. No, I'm not sure. I feel like I remember seeing it, but I don't remember it. Was it an American fighter? No doubt he'll be matched well, as you say, and good luck to Ben. Let's be honest, he doesn't need this carry-on. Yeah, no fighter does, to be fair, but it's just what with the tag. Samuel Vargas walking to the ring now, getting his entrance. We'll see how much he's got left of himself. Been in a lot of wars. Conor Benn loves a war. Samuel Vargas loves a war. I think we'll get a good fight. With good luck with the acclimate. It's not me. It's not me. It's Lewis Van Potch. I'll try and find it if I can. He doesn't have a cash out. Such a shame for him. Let me have a quick look. But I think it's weird, like, I don't think it's like a retirement fight for Vargas, like one last payday, because I don't see how much of a payday you can get from fighting Conor Benn. Right, so here we go. Lewis had. Let me message him quickly. Last leg of your accumulator, how you feeling, Lewis? So he's got £5 at 273.631 odds. Don't really know what that means. John Hedges to win on points, that came through. Cash Fruit to win on points, that came through. Shannon Courtney to win on points, that came through. Now he needs Vargas to beat Conor Benn by knockout. As Big Ben chimes in the walkthrough, he's got those beats around his neck. It's always a good sign for a fighter. They've got beats around their neck. It means they've got a beat sponsorship, which is big for fighters in general and big for Conor Benn, who comes out to Ready or Not, a classic anthem for fighters to come out to alongside your Seven Nation Armies. What other overplayed ones are there? Tyson Fury's got that Fury's on Fire one. That one. There's all sorts of overplayed ones. Here's Lewis here. Let's see his response. He just messaged me back.
Nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready. For Vargas to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting. Nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready. For Vargas to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
That was pretty good, Lewis. Hopefully it comes through for you. But I have a feeling you'll be throwing up mom spaghetti. Can't mind Ames, but I thought I had something in the back of my mind where the lads thing. Just when I heard Boy in background say Vargas threw a punch and missed the pads. Yeah, that was Nick Manners who said that. I definitely remember seeing it. Oh, what is it? Aragon Vega. Was it recently? Aragon Vega versus the Japanese fighter. Because Aragon Vega was like 4 foot something. Was it that fight? Axel Aragon Vega against Hiroto Kayaguchi for the WBA Super World Flyweight title. It was a few weeks back. And yeah, Aragon Vega is really small. So I assume on the pads he must have been looking to punch down because of how small he was. Yeah, I'm sure it was that. It's got to be that one. The Mexican fighter, and he quit, didn't he? Because I don't want to call it quit, but it's the best word I can think of right now. He quit because he landed a right hand, and his hand just kind of like he winced in pain afterwards, didn't he? And it was bubbling up to be a really nice fight, wasn't it? So, but yeah, it might have been that fight. Hey, Eamon, Super XXX. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Is that Tally, maybe? I have no idea. Super. Oh, no, it's Thingy, isn't it? Roz. Is it Roz? I think it's Roz. Good to see you anyway. Yeah, Tosh, I think it's that one. I think it's Kayaguchi and Aragon Vega. Ben and Vargas just getting their official introductions. As we wait, here's what Samuel Vargas had to say when I spoke to him earlier in the week.
Several times. He used to mention me all the time on Instagram. Like, I was like, God damn, man, like, I'm not a promoter. And he was chatting on Instagram here and there all the time, and then he just started calling me out, and then I was like, sure. Finally, if he wants to fight, let's make the fight happen, and let's see if the dog can fight as much as he talks. You know what I'm saying? So here we are.
Ron Ennis is taking on Sergey Lipinets. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Jerome Ennis is a bad man. I call him Boots for a reason. He's got all the skills, the power. I think he takes the fight, to be honest. But I mean, I know Lipinets has a great team, great trainers. So it'll be interesting. But I'll take Lipinets over that. I mean, what's his name? Ennis.
Yeah, I thought it was you, Oz. Good to see you in here. How's Toby? How's Coco? Hope they're well. Conor Benn just getting his official instructions now. Tosh, if you're still in here, it's definitely the Aragon Vega fight. I'm sure of it, and Kayaguchi. See what the guys are saying in the chat as well.
Macklin keeps on saying that Vargas had Khan all over and he had him really badly hurt. Like, I remember him dropping him, but I don't remember him having him all over or maybe really badly hurt. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I don't remember that. Do you guys?
Vargas is coming, you know. Vargas is having a go. Watch his eyes. You watch. There's a bit of experience there. Watch, they're coming. I'll tell you what, Ben, better get yourself to the punch first with this guy. Don't let him get any kind of confidence or any kind of significance in this fight for this first round. Don't let that jab dictate.
Nick's getting me hyped for this fight. I think I remember Vargas dropping him, and then the bell pretty much rang after that, didn't it? Or am I remembering it wrong? Ben and Vargas in the ring right now. 30 seconds gone, and it's just taking a bit of time here. Conor Benn is with a jab and a right hand. That jab is fast from Conor Benn. We know Vargas isn't the best defensively, so he's going to take a lot of shots by defending it with his face, and he has done already. Overhand right and a left hook lands in fast fashion for Conor Benn, but that speed's going to carry very early for Conor. Left hook landed, just made Conor Benn blink, that left hook to the body. Right hand lands for Conor. Right hand again. And again, and again, and again. And he's hurt Vargas here. Ref looks to step in, but Vargas is fine. He takes a big right hand. Vargas, and he stopped him. Fucking hell. Well, Well, I don't know what to say to that at all. Vargas isn't complaining.
This is a man that went 12 rounds with Amir Khan. Sammy Vargas is stopped 1 minute and 22 seconds in, and Conor Benn was electric.
Absolutely electric. Unbelievable performance from Conor Benn. Yes, we thought he would win. Yes, we thought it was good matchmaking. Vargas' experience would give him problems. Ultimately, we expected Conor Benn to come through them and that this would be a good learning fight for him. But he just went in there.
Oh, I don't know what to say about that.
Samuel Vargas away. Normally a
I think
very, very durable.
Vargas was hurt.
That was absolutely top-class stuff.
Right, well, there, discuss. I don't know what to say. Like, Vargas was hurt, yes. He wasn't answering, yes. But that's Vargas. I think it's a bit unfair. Vargas was definitely hurt, but that is Vargas.
Formella, he was patient, he showed good jab, he could see the improvement in his technique, in his IQ.
Wasn't expecting that, you know. Was not expecting that at all.
As we said in the build-up, Vargas has been there with great fighters, he's very experienced.
That was good. That was clinical from Ben, and he definitely had Vargas hurt, and Vargas wasn't answering, but Vargas was there. Vargas was definitely buzzed, as the commentators are saying, but that's Vargas, isn't it? Like, Vargas is hurt when he's like dropped and like down, and I'm just watching it back again. Yeah, he's getting rocked, but right hand over the top, and again. I don't know. I need to watch it a couple of times. I don't know what to make of that. I'm trying to watch it again to kind of get my... See, the head definitely goes back. There's no arguments that he's hurt. Yeah, and he kind of backs off into the ropes there. But Vargas does do that. What did I tell you, Ames? Right to the top this fella is going. Well, hold on there, Tosh. Like, I'm not certain. I'm still not sold if that was early or not. I think that last one. I can't. It would have been better if they let Vargas like go down and try and answer a count and see where it was then. I don't know if I won't say the stoppage was wrong. You know what? I'm gonna give Conor Benn the credit there. I'm gonna give Conor Benn the credit and say, well, he did. He definitely hurt Vargas. He got the stoppage, didn't leave him off the hook, and made the referee make a decision. Forced the referee to make a decision there. Vargas wasn't answering. Yes, Vargas has been a bit of a warrior in the past, and he's taken a lot of shots, and maybe he could have weathered the storm with a bit of experience there. But I think Conor Benn's forced the referee's hand there to make a stoppage, and I don't really argue too much with it. It's off of reputation of Vargas that you might put the little bit of question mark, but if you take away the reputation of Samuel Vargas, the stoppage is very well justified. Yes, I think so as well.
Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, who Nigel was saying he'd like his son to have a crack at. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Virgil Ortiz. So much danger ahead of him. But you know what? This guy, Conor Benn, will fight anybody, I think.
I think you're right. I think the tricky part now is going to be matching him, getting the matches that are going to take him into that batch of fighters that you just mentioned there, because the guys just show that I'm not going to want to fight this guy.
Sensational
see what the guy's saying.
Yeah, I thought the same thing you're thinking, Eamon, when it was happening. You know, Vargas is there, but you know the referee's going to say either I was protecting him from getting really badly hurt, or you know it was just too much. He wasn't throwing anything back, etc. So it's a tough one, isn't it?
I had to watch it back a couple of times, and I think Conor forced the referee to make a decision there because Vargas's head was going back and forward. He wasn't answering. His eyes were kind of going up into his head, and he was kind of wilting back into the ropes. So he forced the referee's hand there, which is great on Conor's part. And if you minus Vargas's reputation, that's a fair stoppage, and I think that's the way you have to look at it. Take away Vargas's reputation of being like a warrior and a fighter, and he's been in those wars, you wouldn't have any qualms about it. So I think that was a great performance there.
Give me Amir Khan. I know he's too busy on reality shows and all that. But listen.
Tosh there. Not on the hype train still.
Relax, all of them. Do you know what I mean? Not only when you beat a fight, you gain experience. I don't think I gained any experience in there tonight. Apart from I can deal with the pressure. I can deal with it. I can cope with it because I'm built for it.
Let's see what Lewis says. Skybet screwed me.
So I said to my mate earlier, I said, I don't have very high hopes for this fight. I think Ben be too much for him. But I said, if my first 3 legs come in, I'll cash out. But Skybet didn't give me a cash out, so fucks me.
Unlucky pal. I don't know much about betting, so, but unfortunately for yourself, you didn't get the cash out. But another day, another dollar, Lewis. Why don't you like him? What is it about Conor that you don't like? I quite like it when Conor shows the like vulnerable sort of sides of him, and yeah, he's got like the image and stuff. To be fair, I think the image is a good image, but you know, he's done the beard transplant and like look, you know, put himself in a certain way. But I don't really mind that too much. And look, especially when you're fighting off of the name, you're gonna get judged against your father, aren't you? You don't have to do that. Yeah, that's easy for me to say that, and it's easy credit to give. Saying that, I think it's the easiest and maybe laziest form of credit to give. Saying, oh, he's made that choice, and you know, this, that, and the other. But he has to prove it, and all he has to do is keep proving it with stuff like that, and he did. And that's a great finish there as well. Didn't let him off the hook at all. Pinned him against the ropes. Got his work was clean as well. Didn't smother his work. But again, the picking is right. Vargas. Now they want to go to Amir Khan. When will Conor Benn have a test that's like an undefeated fighter, another prospect who's looking to, who's live, who's actually live? That's what he needs now. He needs a live opponent. Khan is live in a sense, but a lot more faded.
You would have seen me, you know, 99% accuracy is what I was aiming for this fight. That's what I wanted to show you lot. And, you know, the punches I did land, you know, you couldn't take them. When you talk about power developing, the power's developing.
I had to let you talk, and then I had to listen. I agree with what you say, but you don't understand the nature of the beast. What he did there, for a young, inexperienced fella, as soon as he saw an opening, he started throwing punches, good punches, and you know what? They were connecting, and one after another. That's called accumulative. I'll tell you what, Joe Calzaghe did it with a pity-patty effect. That got him the judges and the referee's attention. But he was doing it with punches that was rocking the head back in a way that would make the referee think there is a medical procedure inevitably going to happen. So really and truly, you know what? Stop the fight.
I had to watch it back a couple of times. I think Conor forced the referee to make a decision there because Vargas' head.
For those who say I can't do this, I can't do that, I'll continue to prove I'm top dog.
Yeah, no, I think on further review, it's definitely a fair stoppage. You're right. I wasn't certain on it in the first viewing, but the slow mo's really kind of showed it and showed it for what it was. So, complete fair play to Conor. I want to see him against someone like who's properly live now. That, like, if he's a contender, looking at the top now, I want to see him against another contender, a proper contender. We'll know where Conor is, and I think he's ready for that. Amir Khan would be a good fight, but that's good matchmaking, which isn't a bad thing. Maybe they can do that next and then do that proper contender fight, but I think that's going to be coming very soon around the corner for Conor.
Sorry, Conor, because you know this was a test. Vargas was in tremendous shape. He just couldn't handle the speed. You know, the ref jumped in. He was about to get.
See what Eddie's saying here.
Knocked out, and the hand speed, the power. The question marks are always, can he handle the step up? But when he's coming through those step ups, the way he's coming through, you have to be ready to take a big jump. Amir Khan is a big jump. It's an absolutely huge fight.
Was it a jump, man? Is it a jump, man?
Amir Khan.
Well, you don't think I land that right hand, he's going to go down?
You know, for me, the issue is that when you beat someone like Vargas like that, the next fight, or the one, it's a top 15 ranked fighter in the world, and that's what Amir Khan is. So why not fight a domestic fight with Amir Khan? Conor Benn against Amir Khan, probably one of the easiest fights to sell I'll ever take part in. But what an intriguing fight. You know, a young kid coming up who, as you can tell, is rather amped and charged against a guy that really is...
Tosh, if you're still here, if Conor beats Amir Khan, will you rate him then?
I want to bow out to a young man coming through the ranks like Conor Benn. That's up to him. And money will talk in that respect. For me, I want to get him back out as soon as possible. And I know he's just had a beautiful son.
I need a couple weeks more, maybe.
Just a couple of weeks, though. And we must box at these fights this year. You know, I mean, there's some fantastic fights out there. I'd love him to. You know, we're talking now about going and having a real world step. I'd still like to see him win the European title. You know, it's something we've talked about as a team. But after a performance like that, how can you not get excited? How can you not get aggressive and start looking at these big names? Because that kind of performance deserves that.
It's got to be a great performance from Conor. Didn't you call it, Aaron? Ben by stoppage. You pretty much called it.
I'm watching it thinking, I'm just not sure about this kid. The work that he's put in, tell me that. No, I couldn't tell you at the time. You might chin me. You get aggressive after fight, right? At the time, I was thinking, I just don't know if this kid is going to be good enough. Honestly, we know he's got the genes. We know he's got a bit about him. But how hard he has worked and the job that Tony Sims has done. He works so hard in the gym that in there, you end up making it easy.
For God's sake, what is this?
Story of an edgy son-in-law. You know, this is the emergence now of Conor Benn, Nigel Benn's son, to people going up to Nigel and going, "Oh, you're Conor's dad." You know, and that's always the aim of a kid who's lived in their father's shadows. I've experienced it. I know the drive, and it makes you so hungry because we know that boxing is a sport that generally the fighters who come from an unprivileged background come through. But when you've got the hunger, when you've got the desire, and when you've got something inside you that wants to make a name in your own life,
although he just had a very, very, very good win,
as someone that had nothing,
I would still turn around and say I'd love to see him win the British title, because if he's at the place where he claims to be, he should be able to have at least the prestige of that one fantastic belt that says he's the king of the island. What says you, sire?
You know that obviously they're constantly pushing for this. Obviously they're constantly pushing for this Khan thing now because they think that they can win it. But Adam Abramovic tweeted out, give them McKinson next. That'll be a learning fight for him, and you know what? I prefer McKinson over. As much as I'd love to see him fight Khan and stuff, I think it'd be exciting. It'd be a really good fight. Do you really want to put him in a learning fight? Give him McKinson. 100% down with that.
Great individual, you know, great family, just a hard worker that deserves everything he gets.
Listen, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
You've got that.
I think the other reason why they're calling for Khan right now is because he's got that series on BBC, so it makes sense to try and attach Conor Benn to Amir Khan. That they've been talking about that fight like now, not like after the Formella fight, like maybe Khan down the line. They've never even name dropped Khan. They're talking about it now, and I think that a lot of it's got to do with Khan being in the mainstream right now with that series on the BBC.
Yeah, Nick, exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, McKinson, you need to go through that sort of route. You know, he's not done that. Like you said, he's bypassed it through these WBA trinkets, intercontinental, whatever they are. So yeah, I want to see McKinson. That's what I'm lobbying for.
Do you not realise though that
Conor Benn is being built as a commodity fighter who will negotiate past the proper traditional routes to go to straight to financial world honours.
Years ago when he boxed those guys, but you know what? What Conor Benn did right there, I'm telling you now, Amir Khan will not fight him. I'm telling you now, he'll beat Sean Porter. He'll beat Adrian Broner. Time is everything. He's 24 years old. At each fight this kid gets better and better, gets hungrier and hungrier, gets more dangerous and improves technically. And what he did just there and how he did it says it all to me.
But Amir seeing Conor as high risk, low reward.
Without a doubt. Why would he? Why would he get in with Conor Benn? Get in with Kell Brook. That did happen. You won't get in with that. The boy is
Right then, I think I'm going to head off. Thanks to everyone who came in.